Okay, ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to look at transition elements or transition metal. And this transition element, we are going to look at some introductory part of it. So, so we are starting with definition, metallic properties, electronic configuration, variable oxidation states, colored ions, complete complex ion formation, shapes of complexes, isomerism in complexes, and then finally catalytic properties. So now we are starting with a definition. What is first row transition element are all about? Remember in chemistry we have block of the element. We have S block element which comprise group 1 and 2 element. We have P block element which comprise from group 3 to group 6, and then we also have D block elements which comprise the transition elements that we are going to discuss, and then we have F block elements which comprise lanthanide and actinide series. So what are transition elements? Transition elements are those elements that are found in D block with partially filled d orbital. When we said partially filled d orbitals, remember that these orbitals have the maximum number of electrons they accommodate. S orbital accommodate a maximum of 2 electrons. P orbital accommodate a maximum of 6 electrons. D orbital accommodate a maximum of 10 electrons, while F orbital accommodate a maximum of 14 electrons. So when we say d block elements or transition element, it means that are those elements that have partially filled d orbitals. The word partially filled d orbitals, it means that the orbital should not take the complete 10 electrons on the d. It means that the electrons should be within 1 to 9. So all those elements that have 1 electrons on their d orbital, 2 electrons, 3, up to 8 and 9, they are transition element. But if the element, like in the case of zinc, it has 10 electrons on, it is d orbital, so it is not considered as d as transition element, but it's considered as a d block element. So this tells you that all transition element have electrons on their d orbitals. That is why all transition element are d block element, but not all d block element are transition element, like in the case of the zinc itself, because the electrons there is completely filled with 10 electrons, and for a for an element to qualify as transition element, the d orbitals must be partial. The word partial means it must not contain 10 electrons on the d orbital. So like for example, uh, these are some examples of transition elements starting from CS, scandium, titanium, vanadium, chromium, manganese, iron, and cobalt. All these are example of transition element. And one thing is, all transition element are metals. They are all metals, and they have strong metallic bonds due to small ionic size and close packing. So we have to put, this is just like a general properties of transition element. All of them are metal, number one. So they have a strong metallic bonding, they have small ionic size, they have high melting point and boiling point, as well as the high density. So all these properties is also apply in S block element, which is element that belongs to group 1 and 2, alkali metal and alkaline earth metal. But the metallic bonding, melting point, boiling point, and the density is higher in the transition element than the S block element.